Good evening and a warm welcome to all our esteemed panelists and participants to this important webinar titled Technology and Machinery, Changing the Face of Indian Jewellery Manufacturing. This is indeed a crucial time for the gem and jewellery sector in India as the country is racing towards a new normal. Technological inventions and upgradations have indeed encouraged the gem and jewellery industry to innovate, reduce costs and scale up their promotional avenues to bring back the buyers and sustain business. Today, we have stalwarts from the tech and machinery sector to take us through the importance of technological advances and critical areas that will impact the jewellery manufacturing process. We do hope to arrive at a logical conclusion that will help build a sustainable future through this webinar. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our esteemed panelists today. Our first panelist, Mr. Donald Michael, Secretary, Jewellery Manufacturers Accessories Forum. Reputed distributor in India of a range of machines incorporating cutting-edge technology for modern jewellery manufacturing. These are manufactured in Hispana, Spain, and a reputed manufacturer in Italy. They are a CRISIL verified ISO 9001-2015 certified company. Mr. Michael is the director of DM Impex Private Limited. Since 2005, the company has supplied jewelers across the country in small workshops or large factories with laser welders and markers, grinding and pre-polishing systems for gold and silver jewelry, casting machines, investment removers, backs, injectors, etc. A warm welcome today to you, Dr. Donald Michael, Secretary of the newly formed JMA and Director DM Impex. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dr. Arvind Patel, Managing Director, Sahajanand Laser Technology Limited, one of the largest manufacturers of laser systems in India and probably one of the largest equipment suppliers in the world for the diamond industry. Since the summer of 1989, a young technocrat, Dr. Arvind Patel, started manufacturing laser systems in India. SLTL, Sahajanand Laser Technologies Limited, has grown leaps and bounds, with companies set up in USA, Germany, UK, and China, and exporting to over 21 countries such as Russia, Israel, Switzerland, Poland, Singapore, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Namibia, Botswana, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Dubai, Angola, Armenia, etc. With over 7,000 successful installations worldwide, the company commands a lion's share in the industry. Dr. Arvind Patel, Managing Director, is a rare combination of technocrat entrepreneur, having more than 30 years experience with the laser technology. He is founder and director of Sahajanand Technologies Laser Technology Limited. A warm welcome to you, Dr. Arvind Patel. Our next speaker, Vishal Usapkar. Vishal comes from a core electronics background and has a global experience of more than a decade in overseeing RFID project rollouts in the jewelry industry. He heads the Indian entity of the group's business. A complete foodie and a die-hard cricket fan, Vishal loves the network. His primary focus has been to create awareness and help businesses benefit from RFID technology adoption. Warm welcome, Vishal Usapkar.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, Rutesh D. Shah, Director, Innovative. Rutesh D. Shah brings with him the experience and the knowledge on applications of 3D printing in precious metals, especially in fine jewelry and luxury goods. He believes that 3D printing could hold the key that promises coexistence of aesthetics, craftsmanship, and customization with the commercial considerations in the post-COVID global market. His passion for 3D printing, as his colleagues and collaborators would say, is almost evangelistic. Warm welcome to you, Mr. Rupesh D. Shah.
Thank you.
Our next speaker from Hong Kong is Dr. Ko Hung Ko, has a PhD degree from the University of Hong Kong with a research related to the precious metals chemistry. He joined Heraeus as a research chemist and soon started his career in master alloy for the jewelry industry. He has over 20 years of experience in jewelry production and alloy development. He has developed many master alloys with patent and established some procedures for improving the casting results. Currently, he is also handling some other alloy products of semiconductor industry and glass industry. A warm welcome to you, Dr. Ko Hung Ko.
Hello, how are you?
Mr. Mehernosh Printer, Director, N Jewellery Techniques Private Limited, would be the co-moderator today, and he is a very well-known person in the industry. And N Jewellery Techniques Private Limited has been co-founded by him, along with late Mr. Nariman H. Wadia, a well-known figure in the jewellery industry since the last several decades. Mr. Printer started his career as an understudy of late Nariman H. Wadia and has a strong background in finance by education and a strong knowledge of jewellery manufacturing processes learned over several years under the late Mr. Wadia. A warm welcome to you, Mr. Mehernosh D. Printer. Thank you so much for joining us and agreeing to moderate this session. I leave the mic to you, Mr. Printer.
Thank you, Subbu. It is indeed a pleasure to be a part of this exclusive webinar on technology and machinery changing the face of Indian jewelry manufacturing. That is indeed a critical area and a very important subject of discussion as we move towards this new era, the new normal. Welcome to all our participants today, and hope to have an informative and a fruitful discussion. It is indeed a pleasure to have Ms. Joanna Franks, trade analyst, Italian trade agency Mumbai, with us. I invite her to give a keynote address on behalf of the ITA. Thank you. Ms. Joanna Franks, please.
Thank you, everybody, and especially thank you, Hernush, for inviting me to speak at this webinar on jewelry, machinery, and technology. A good evening to each and every one of you logging into this webinar. I'm pleased to represent the Italian Trade Agency in India, more commonly as it is known as the ITA. So we are a part of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Italy, and our aim is to promote trade between India and Italy. Within India, we have two offices, one in Delhi and one in Mumbai. And since we work across all the sectors and the various industries, these industries are divided between both our offices, and we have dedicated sectors that each of our office looks into. The gems and jewelry industry falls under the purview of the Mumbai office, and I am pleased to introduce myself, Joanna Franks, as the trade analyst who's responsible for this sector. So it is a well-known fact that we Indians are really fond of jewelry, especially all these years it's been, precious jewelry, gold jewelry that has been at the top of our list. But even silver is gaining ground with our new generation and their minimalistic preferences. So having said that, it is indeed safe to say that the gems and jewelry industry plays a vital role in the Indian economy. It accounts for, I think, around 7% of the nation's GDP and around 15% of the total merchandise exports. Even the employment scale is huge. It employs around, I think, more than 4 million people and is expected to employ around 8 million by 2022. So it's obviously the real, the fastest growing sector, and it is extremely export oriented. Indian jewelry industry is one of the largest in the world. The contributing percentage is around 29 to the global jewelry consumption. And because of this potential for growth and value addition, the government of India has declared gems and jewelry as one of the focus sectors for promoting exports. The government has taken various measures to encourage investments and to upgrade technology and skills and help to promote Indian jewelry and the brand India in the international market. Further, keeping in mind, the high import duties that has been imposed on finished jewelry products being imported, manufacturing in India has become the need of the hour and the preferred business model. The technology and machinery sector is the most important segment pertaining to the gems and jewelry industry. The state-of-the-art cutting-edge machines have transformed the industry to become global leaders and also has helped our Indian jewelers to reach, a pinnacle of finesse in the jewelry machinery and jewelry production. Gems and jewelry machinery is successful because of the growing demand of, the large appetite of the consumers and then thereby the manufacturers. They are keen to bring in state-of-the-art machinery and tools that produce fine jewelry to cater to our people. Multinational jewelry, again, they need large number of production, and who better than India to produce for them? So with the availability of the workforce and technology in India, many jewelry companies, we service many of the corporates when it comes to large scale production. So thereby we are also supporting the Make in India policy. So to augment the production and the quality of jewelry made in India, all our importers, distributors of these cutting edge technology and machines, they're doing their best and they're leaving no stones unturned to bring high quality tools into the Indian market, into the country. And on the other hand, Indian jewelry machinery manufacturers as well are manufacturing really great machinery, improvising, customizing, which helps the Indian market to expand in the sense that there is demand for Indian machinery also in the international market. Statistics also show that, basically I'm coming back to Italy and India, and statistics show that India and Italy does have a great trade relationship, and we are among the top 10 countries for export-import. In fact, last year, during the 20th session of the India-Italy Joint Commission for Economic Cooperation, it was held in the month of February, and it was, co-chaired by the then Minister of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Suresh Prabhu. And also we had the Deputy Minister of Economic Development, Mr. Michele Geraci. And basically, Mr. Prabhu at that time itself, highlighted the importance of Italy as a trade partner in India. And he said that Italy is really India's 5th largest trading partner. He also highlighted that Italy has inherent strengths in manufacturing, design and innovation and skills training, while India has a vast pool of skilled human resources, competitive wage rates, and an edge in sectors like leather, gems and jewelry, and components and textiles. So basically, there's a huge potential for Indian and Italian industries to have partnerships and collaborations. From our side, the ITA side, we help to promote Italian excellence and precision among all sectors, especially now referring to the gems and jewelry, where we try and connect Indian and Italian entrepreneurs and companies, and we diligently work to bring Italian machinery and technology, which is one of the best in the world, I'm saying, to India. And we are ever present to help our Indian counterparts, our Indian companies, in case they do want to connect with Italian companies. And I also know that GJEPC is doing an excellent job in promoting trade in this specific sector as well. So proactively, from our side, we arrange delegations of Indian companies. We take them to Italy to keep, to make sure that they're in the forefront and in the know-how of all the new technology that is available. From our part, we take them to these exhibitions, and they basically they showcase the latest developments in the sector. Through pre-arranged B2B meetings, we connect Indian machinery buyers with the makers of jewelry or technology, whatever is their focus area. So annually, we always organize 3 delegations. Basically, Vicenza Oro, which has 2 editions, one in January, which focuses on finished products, but it also has a small section which is into machinery. And although it's a smaller section as compared to the Vicenza Oro September show, which is mainly focused on machinery, many of our Indian companies prefer to go to the January show because they believe it showcases the entire year's machinery and new technology. Apart from Vicenza Oro, we take our delegations to Oro Arezzo, which is specifically for made in Italy jewelry, where the best manufacturing companies come together in the jewelry district of Arezzo. While it is into finished products, we still do have a lot of demand from online retailers and importers. So while this year we did attend the Tea Gold edition in January, just before the pandemic struck Italy and the rest of the world. However, because the COVID is still raging in several parts of the world, it is not possible for us or many of the other countries to attend the Vicenza Oro September edition physically. So hence, the event has organized a voice event, which is a virtual event, and it helps countries like India who cannot be there physically to attend virtually, digitally, the conferences and seminars, which will anyways keep them in the loop and the know-how of all technology that is being showcased. So basically, just wanted to let you know that this is what we do. We're really keen on encouraging bilateral trade between our 2 countries. And if you all want to know more about our office and what our services are, please follow us on LinkedIn. Our handle is Italian Trade Agency -Mumbai, or on Twitter @ITA_Mumbai, or you can check our website out, italiaindia.com. If any of you want to connect with me, please feel free to email me and I will be happy to get back to you. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Franks. Thank you for all the information. And next we have Mr. Donald Michael, Secretary JMA. Welcome, Donald, to the webinar. Thank you for being on the panel. First, congratulations to the entire new committee that has taken over the reins of JMA. What impact will JMA have for the tech and the machinery sector? What are your immediate plans for the Indian tech sector? I am talking about JMA, about JMA's plans.
Okay, fine. See, what happens is, Mehernosh, this position as an honorary secretary of JMA, which is Jewellery, Machinery and Accessories, is purely ornamental. I volunteered to serve this forum, and the 80 odd members elected me and the others to take this forum or the association to a next level. And what is the next level? Until recently, it was just a body of 80 members who wants to stand united for their voices to be heard. It's just 4 years old. To let others know, as a united body, we started taking part in various exhibitions across the country. With experience, we realized this is not enough. We want to be united and heard everywhere, in every exhibition, in every seminar. Thank you for giving me this opportunity on this platform to speak as the Secretary of JMA. Some of you who are now hearing me now knows that there is a body called JMA. In this group, we have manufacturers of gold jewelry, good jewelry machines, related machinery and accessories. And we also have traders who import from across the globe, right, state-of-the-art machinery. What is clear is that there is a good need for us to show what we can do better. Can we improve our quality? Can we manufacture good machinery for the Indian jewelry industry as well as export to let the world know? We too make good machinery. Just now, Ms. Johan said that we make machinery which is on par with the world. Now we can make machines which can match or even surpass their standards. It's a long way uphill. We are aware of this. To start with, the JMA, we plan to create a good website where all the members are allocated a page where they can display and even have a video of their products. We then plan to approach all the jewelry associations in our country and abroad and appraise what JMA as a whole can offer. Everything they are looking for in the jewelry industry can be offered by JMA, be it just machinery or accessories or consumables. Every member of JMA must not only get an opportunity to showcase what they have, but must also reap the benefits. Slowly and steadily, we plan to have more members from across the country as well as abroad. By forging unity, we can achieve many things. We can invite good consultants, good gemologists, good designers, and many of the other related professions who can give in-depth understanding and knowledge, not only to our own fraternity and the people in this industry, for them to upgrade themselves, to be in tune with the changing scenarios. To start with, we plan to create a good website wherein all the members are allocated a page where they can display and even have a video of their own products. We can then plan to approach all the jewelry associations in our country and appraise what JMA as a whole can offer. Everything they are looking for in the jewelry industry can be offered by JMA. It is just machinery or accessories or consumables, everything related to that we can offer. Every member of JMA must not only get an opportunity to showcase what they have, but must also reap the benefits. Slowly and steadily, we plan to have more members from across the country as well as from abroad. By forging unity, we can achieve many things. We can invite good consultants, good gemologists, good designers, and many of the other related professions who can give in-depth understanding and knowledge, not only to our own fraternity, but also to the people in this industry for them to upgrade themselves, to be in tune with the changing scenarios. Nothing is static. If we consider we can know everything, then we are not in the right place. All of us have good, indeed very good scope to change ourselves every time and adapt ourselves to the changing scenarios. With this broad vision and with suggestions and practical inputs from my colleagues who are the core committee members and all the members of our association, I'm sure JMA will soon be a force to be reckoned with. Thank you.
Thank you, Donald.
Yes.
I indeed wish success to JMA and all its members.
Thank you.
We now move on to Dr. Arvind Patel, Managing Director, Sajanan Technologies, to understand what is his take on the factors that would influence to spring back the diamond sector. The gem and jewelry sector is facing an uncertain future due to COVID as well as the economic downturn. Do you think technology and cutting-edge machine tools will drive a sustainable business in the near future? Dr. Patel?
So in the diamond industry, mostly there is a stagnant because it is not like that a lot of people sitting together and manufacturing diamond. So present scenario has a social distancing, a lot of problems to manufacturing industry part. So we have to think about new normal for the particular manufacturing segments. How we can make technological way to diamond so we can maintain the normal things, and machinery also we make such a remote machinery so it can be operated by separate isolated operators, can also help to the industry, and it can continuously going on the regular production of the diamond. And mostly the diamond now required to be made to the market. We should not make producing as continuously there's no demand and you make it. So you have to make to market. That concept also we have to do that.
Thank you, Dr. Patel. I am sure the opinion will be taken up front by our participants who have joined us from all over the country. Thank you. Over to you, Subbu, to continue with a few more questions.
Thank you so much, Mernoshi, Donald, Michael Saab, and Dr. Arvind Patel. Thank you very much. I would like to continue this with Mr. Donald Michael. Sir, laser marking machines has evolved with the cutting edge innovations. What is your take on how will it impact the new age manufacturing? The laser marking machines in the new age manufacturing, how will be the impact?
Subbu, the question is a little tough one right now. Firstly, let me distinguish between a laser marker and a laser cutter. Dr. Arvind Patel is there, who is supposedly the father of this industry right now. So in front of him, I am no one to talk about it, but the little that I know, let me clarify here. Firstly, we need to distinguish between a laser marker and a laser cutter. They are very different. A laser marker is purely meant to mark. Maybe the depth of marking may vary depending on which metal is the marking done on. Though you may be able to mark very easily on gold, that's not the case on other metals. So the application has to be very clearly understood by the person whether what sort of a laser marker or a cutter he is looking for. Yes, because of various power in the laser sources in the laser marker, cutting is possible, but again, one has to define the thickness of metal to be cut. To give you this example, in today's scenario, nobody probably is making a gold sheet of 1 mm. These are very good laser markers which can easily cut 1 mm of gold, but one cannot expect the same to be done by a good laser marker with 20-watt marker, which in price comparison is cheaper. Therefore, what is important for the buyer is to first understand their own application. If their application involves just marking, maybe deep marking, maybe deep engraving and cutting. Remember, when we talk about engraving, there's a lot of metal loss, and in case there is no good recovery system on these machines, it's not a good idea at all. These sort of deep engraving on brass or copper, and to some extent on silver is fine. However, I may not recommend the same on gold, which indeed is a very precious metal and expensive, especially in today's market. By default, like telephones, like any kitchen gadgets, it's slowly becoming a must to have a laser marker in one's factory or in one's own showroom where customers want something to be done on their purchased products, like a name or a design or a photograph. These are now becoming personal items, which is exclusively meant for the purchaser to display that the product belongs to him or her. It can also be a gift to someone, which is a memento. This is just one part. For this, even probably a 10-watt marker may do, and probably there is no consideration for any sort of a good recovery. But the same is not the case where today more and more factories want to become very innovative in their designs, save time, money, and manpower. For example, if one needs to make a die to make a 2D coin, the time taken to deliver could be a day or two manually, and with a good powerful laser marker, one can finish the job in less than 30 minutes or even less if one has a very powerful marker. There is also scope to make 3Ds at additional cost. Here, one needs to evaluate the time, manpower used, space used, and winning the customer's confidence in delivering the product on time. Before one goes on in for a laser marker, the main criteria has to be the application. A little bit of foresight, whether the considered product can be helpful in future or not. Should one invest right now for the future and look at the future, how it evolves, and then consider? Now let's look at this unseen pandemic. Nobody was able to predict. And as of now, nobody can predictably and comfortably say that everything is going to be fine by, say, 1 month or more. As businessmen and as humans, we all live with hope, and we are sure that tomorrow will be fine.
Thank you so much, Donald Michael. That was indeed in depth. Coming back to Dr. Patel, you have been using artificial intelligence in your research and the products that you are marketing. Could you tell us how much of this artificial intelligence will impact the future of technology in India? Would it be a blessing to the manufacturers of jewelry or a bane?
Indian industry has to cope up with the latest technology like artificial intelligence and ANN. So because most of the things now, even with the new conditions of the manufacturing segments of the pandemic, we have to change it, and we think about that adding in the technology in artificial intelligence. So that's why we can make it the processing the diamond, not like blindly making the diamond. As such, we have to understand the market. So the artificial intelligence helps us to be what is the market demand, and you make it for them in the right time. Very important is the right time. So with customer or jeweler want in few months time, 1 month time. So you have to produce by your goods, by technology, by artificial intelligence. You want to know that what I can make it and what is my customer need. So that can be most easily done with artificial intelligence. So this very important part in manufacturing segments. So raw diamond can be processed, store it, keep it there. As the customer demand comes, then you start to manufacture. Like other industry, do buy as per the demand. So we presently diamond industry not doing as per demand at the time of manufacturing. That can be reverse change and make the concept to make by using the technology, and a lot of, and mostly it is IoT based, so it can be worked out from remotely. So there is no need to be present there. So your goods is lying to other factory part. You are in marketing in Bombay, or you find out the orders. You set the data with the AI, and you can manufacture according to that. So that's the most way helpful to industry, and it is also we also working a lot of things in AI now strongly.
Of course. Thank you so much, Doctor. Over to you, Mernoji.
Thank you. But talking about technology, we have with us today Rutesh Shah. Rutesh, good evening. Rutesh, tell us about what is precious metal printing and how does it differ from wax or resin printing?
Thank you for that question, Manoj. First, let me take a step back and just reintroduce what 3D printing is all about in just a few lines. So 3D printing or additive manufacturing is a construction of a three-dimensional object from a CAD model or a digital model. So essentially, it's a technique that takes us from software to hardware, digital to an atom, right? And that's done in a way where the materials are added together, either by liquid molecules being binded or the powder grains being fused. And typically, this is layer by layer. This is a very old technology. Since 1985, when Dr. Chuck Hall patented this technology, and from 1995, the metal additive manufacturing was introduced to the market. To explain even better, could I ask the host to just go on to one of the slide number 1, please? So this really tells us the story. On the top half, we are pretty much, most of the jewelers are aware of this technology where you have a CAD design, which is then converted into a wax print or a resin print. That printed object is then taken for casting, and after casting, you have your casted piece, and after which you do your post-processing. What direct metal printing does is it takes your CAD design, eliminates all the other processes, and then straightway builds the jewelry in 3D format and directly gives you the output. What remains to be done is only the post-processing to get you the final object. So from CAD, directly you get your 3D printed pieces ready to be sold after post-processing, of course. There are many, many advantages to this technology as compared to the other technologies. It's very efficient manufacturing. It's relatively low capex. While the machine itself may seem a little bit on the expensive side, but if you're considering the entire project in terms of land, people, utilities, overhead, this is relatively low capex. Since it's in a powder format where all your inventory is in a powder form, it's a very low inventory cost. It has a lot of design complexity available and a lot of design flexibility. Very importantly, when you do casting or when you do CNC, or this, you are stuck with that form of manufacturing. Metal printing allows you flexibility in the product manufacturing capability. It is a very fast manufacturing turnaround capacity, and it also gives you better delivery times. And if used intelligently, it can be a high margin business for the manufacturers. But it's also important to understand that it can be used only in certain conditions. The conditions being, if you want to save on the material cost, or if the design is going to have a lot of wastage, then this technology can be used. If the design changes are very costly, or the designs are very complex to be done, if you have linked pieces, then this technology can do it very, very well. If your tooling costs are high, or your assembly costs are very high, it requires a lot of human element. It requires human intervention, which means that you're depending upon labor. This technology allows you to bypass all those difficulties. If your lead times are very short, then this machine really helps you. Customization is a hallmark of this technology. You can do mass customization with short batch production using this technology. And more importantly, you can use hybrid technology, which means use your existing manufacturing technology married to the metal printing, and you can get hybrid products, which will give you a very high margin potential. And more importantly, it creates a very high entry barrier for your competitors. So if these criteria are used in a intelligent fashion, then it will definitely, in a quantifiable manner, it can give benefits and create very high entry barriers for your competition. And not to mention, it opens the window for high margin business. As far as the materials being used, may I ask the host to present the second slide, please? So in the 3D printing world, you have polymeric, metallic, ceramic, and others. We are concerned with the metallic. in terms of metal, you have all the possible precious metals in its pure form as well as in its alloy form. Over and above that, even exotic metals like titanium, cobalt, chrome, inconel, and tungsten, tungsten carbide jewelry being very, very popular abroad, can be experimented using this this technology without adding to the capital expenditure to your manufacturing environment. This is in a nutshell what additive metal printing can give in terms of advantages to the existing manufacturers.
Thank you, Rutesh. A lot of information there. Subbu, for you to grill him a little more.
Yes, thank you so much. Rutesh, I will come back to you in a minute. We have Vishal, the Managing Director, Iris India with us. Vishal, this question is for you. How important is RFID solutions for the jewelry industry? Will it help loose polished manufacturers in terms of inventory management?
First of all, thank you. Good evening to everyone. And I'd like to thank JTM for giving Iris an opportunity to be a part of this webinar. Coming from the technology side, it's always good to hear the latest technical developments, and it's a pleasure to contribute towards it. So basically, I would like to say something more about the technology which would answer your question eventually. In case you still have any queries, just feel free to ask about it. Right. So basically, the Indian gems and jewelry industry has a very important position in the Indian economy. And breaking the shackles of being an ethnic and a conventional industry, the new generation is now adding another dimension to the jewelry industry by fusing in technology and innovation. Right? And with modern technology available these days, there is no doubt that every single thing is made a lot more convenient. And jewelry production is definitely not an exception to it. From your e-commerce platform, cloud solutions, computer-aided designs, 3D printing, augmented reality, RFID, BLE. These are a few things that bring new excitements to the industry. And it looks like increasingly more companies will need to implement these technologies if they really want to stay competitive and create their niche. Now, when we speak of technology, what is that one thing that we expect out of it? So according to me, primarily introduction of technologies for one main reason, to increase your sales or to have more profits. So technology can directly contribute to increase your sales, as well as it can bring more visibility and streamline your processes so that you have more efficiency, thereby reducing your losses. Now, when you decide on any specific technology, it needs to be implemented in the right manner. And to implement in the right manner, you definitely need to have a right partner for the implementation. One of the major cause of any technology failure is, this particular thing. And of course, for technology to work correctly, there are certain changes that needs to be done in the environment. And as a business owner, one should be really open to adopt these changes in the scenario. So as the technology expert, there are few areas where I do see where technology, even in the current process, can definitely benefit the jewelry industry. So in fact, as you said, I'm actually going to take few examples. I'm actually going to talk about few processes wherein, not only RFID, but there are other aspects of the technology that I see, fit in perfectly. So just to talk about how technology will directly impact your sales. So implementing e-commerce is now the latest in trend. Of course, it's need of an hour, you can say that, where in difficult times, the retailers are suffering from declining footfalls. So it's extremely important for the jewelers to stay in touch or stay connected with their existing client base. Of course, we have social media like Facebook, Instagram, wherein you can advertise your products and promote your offers. Moreover, now there is new technology called as augmented reality or virtual try-on, where you simply sitting at the home can virtually wear any product on you by just turning on the front camera of your device. And from a jeweler perspective, all he needs is just a good quality image of that product. Not even a physical product is required for it. One primary thing we need to understand that the customer profile is now changing. Okay, the choice and selection of products is very different than what it used to be a few years ago. So as a jeweler, what if I get to know, what are the exact kind of designs or exact kind of items that I need to manufacture, both for my online business as well as for my offline business. So in this case, the business analytics or business intelligence becomes a very important tool. And using analytics, one can exactly identify these trends. So, for example, what are my fast-moving products? What are my least popular designs? My sales team keeps traveling across India as well as globally. So analytics will exactly tell me which particular design is more popular in which particular region. Now, as most of the panelists out here are majorly focusing or are directly related to the core of any manufacturing setup. For example, the jewelry designing or the jewelry making process. But I will, more talk about the allied processes that are involved and how technology can bring visibility into these day-to-day operations. Now, here, you might have, you will get your answers about how RFID is playing a very important role for any jewelry industry. Now, taking stock of your inventory on a daily basis, though it's sort of a boring activity or a mundane activity, it's one of the most important things that needs to be done. So using RFID, one can easily, send an automated report to the business owner wherever he is, giving him a peace of mind. At the same time, it makes life easy for a person who is actually taking that inventory. So typically, without the technology, if you are going to take few days to take count of your inventory, using RFID, it's a matter of few hours. Now, in the manufacturing process, a product or a design typically passes through multiple departments or multiple stages. So, every day you have to go through the issue return process with your workers. So, whenever, you need to give them the products that they need to work on that particular day. So, again, an RFID technology is best suited for it. It is going to, not only make the process fast, but it is also going to bring more transparency and efficiency in the entire process, right? Other thing is the manufacturer exhibits in a lot of exhibitions. He participates in all the shows worldwide. So, one of the most important thing, what happens is once the client there comes and he does the selection of the products, then the salesperson is going to spend a lot of time noting down his customer selections. Here again, the RFID is going to play a very important role where whatever products the customer is selecting, whether you want to take a customer selection note or a delivery challan, you want to make an invoice, within a matter of few minutes, the whole activity can be done and you are prepared to attend to the next customer. Again, I mean, there are few jewelers who are having huge warehouses. So, as a typical process of a warehouse is you have to pick up and you have to put away your jewelry, which is a very extremely painful process. Now, the entire process of picking an item from the location as per the delivery order can be made very super quick. The operator just has to click on the product SKU and the operator will come to know which bin that particular product is. We can also go to an extent that there are some kind of visuals or light displays that can be put to the bin, so the operator can easily locate the bin as well. Another problem that is typically encountered in the jewelry industry is tracking of the jewelry molds, the rubber molds I'm talking about. So a small jewelry house will also have more than 10,000 rubber molds, and whenever they receive an order, then finding a particular rubber mold is a very humongous task. So we at Iris are already equipped and we have a technology at hand to make all the above mentioned activities very effortless. So it's really exciting to see how the modern technology is changing all the elements of the jewelry industry. And as the years go, we can expect more and more innovations in every stage that will change both the buyer as well as the seller experience. So, I mean, any new industry, any new machines or any new set of tools or technique for that sake are obviously initially looked upon with some kind of doubts. But once all the fears are, laid to the rest, and once people start seeing the value, the workforce will eventually embrace the latest technology.
Of course, yes. Thank you so much, Vishal. I think RFID is definitely one of the futuristic concepts that people would, or the trade would embrace. Thank you so much. There is a question that has come in from the participant for Dr. Kopo. Dr. Ko, regarding the grain refiner, can we also add it by ourselves? How can we do it by ourselves? Can we add the grain refiner? About the grain refiner, would you like to take it up, Dr. Ko?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Actually, we can add the grain refiner by ourselves to improve the performance of the alloy. But the problem is how we can make sure the addition of the grain refiner is homogeneous and also in right amount. Because most of this grain refiner, why they can be grain refiner? Because they have low solubility in the alloy. So normally they add just like some pepper in the soup. So they are not really dissolving, but dispersed in the alloy. So if we make it by ourselves, whether the grain refiner is in the right dimension, if it is too big, then you end up with hotspot problem. If it is too small, it will form some lumps and it is not homogeneously distribute all over the alloy, then again you have a hotspot problem. So in principle, we are able to add it by ourselves, but practically somehow is difficult sometimes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ko. There's a question that has come in for Dr. Arvind Patel, Sajanand. The features as well as one important challenge that Hallmark 7G has. Would you like to take this up?
So this machine can be very versatile, 7-axis machine. So that's why we go Hallmark 7G. So this can do for any fancy shapes. If you to produce fancy shapes by technological way, by automatic way, so there will be machine to program your fancy shape by any planar machine. Yes, so 7G is a 7-axis machine, mostly designed for fancy shapes primer. So it can be easily done with the CAD drawings, getting from the planar machine. Whatever you plan it, that can be planned and in the machine, and it can be cut very fancy shape easily. So primary work will be done, then only we require a final polishing. So this machine has a lot of features. It is also shape it there and save the material also, because it can take out a lot of materials and very complex process can be made easy, because regular way we want to do machining, very sharp edge like a heart shape you want to make it, very difficult to do regular manual way by tool. So that by laser it can be very easily done.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Rutesh Shah, can you hear me now?
Much better. Thanks.
Okay, yeah. So we've heard about metal printing and how the wax or resin printing. How does it differ? Can you put some light on the direct metal printing bringing value to the manufacturing in post-COVID scenario? Can you do that?
Certainly. Could I ask the host to please get me a slide, please, number 3. So before I explain about the value that 3D printing metal begins, I'd like all of you to see what 3D printing technology can do. These are the kinds of jewelry that are possible to do with metal manufacturing. Now, some may argue that there are other techniques to do it, certainly, but to do it in a cost-effective way, to do it in just-in-time method, to have hollow pieces made, that's virtually impossible to do. And more importantly, to do it with mass customization and across all metals. This is a metal printed piece which looks like a fabric, behaves like a fabric, but it's made in silver. This weighs 11.05 grams, and if it interests you, then if this were to be made in 18 kt gold, this would be 16.5 grams. In 22 kt gold, this would be 18.8 grams, and in platinum 950, this would be 21 grams. And the earrings that you see again made in silver, this weighs about 18 kt, this would be 9.5 grams, 22 kt 10 grams, and in platinum 13.2 grams. So coming back to what are the key value propositions about direct metal printing, especially with the post-COVID world, I'd bifurcate that into products, production, and market. In terms of products, the manufacturer can get a very, very high design complexity, which is impossible to get in any other form of manufacturing. You can get super lightweight and hollow pieces, even in hard metals like platinum and titanium and tungsten carbide. You can get very close linked or nestled pieces, which is built in by the machine itself, and there is no human intervention required to actually link the pieces. It's a very flexible technology that allows you to manufacture in all precious metals and also exotic metals. And here, the design is the key driver and not the process. And what do I mean by that? I mean is that in any other form of manufacturing, say investment casting, CNC, electroforming, it is the manufacturing that decides what the designers are supposed to design, bearing in mind the limitations of that manufacturing process. With metal printing, most of those limitations are actually, they do not exist. Hence, it's upon the design team, the designer, to create those pieces which are virtually impossible to make in any other form of manufacturing. And most importantly, the product iteration. When I mean by that is that, supposing if you were to make a bangle of a particular size, and then if you wanted the same design, but in a different weight or in a different size, then that design iteration is virtually free of cost. There is no incremental cost to that. If we come to production, then the cost per piece starts at, okay, these are all figures which are tried and tested, but these are pretty broad figures. And they start at about 450 rupees per piece, not per gram. And that depends on the geometry, the design, the quantity we are doing, and the metal we are using. This machine, this technology can guarantee you 24/7 production. And one person can manage multiple machines. Not only that, that person can also do the first part of the post-process after the pieces have been done. We have negligible metal loss until the build stage. What do I mean by that? The designs are made remotely. The designs are fed into the machine. The machine is enclosed, it is in a vacuum and fed by nitrogen or an argon gas, and then it builds layer by layer, and rest of the powder after the build process is actually collected back. There is virtually negligible loss during the build process. The kind of quality that you get is almost like a CNC-like quality in terms of surface finish. When you compare even a platinum piece, a hollow platinum piece that is made with metal 3D printing versus say any other way of production, then you can have it at 40% lower weight with a hardness which is better than a CNC piece. And I've tried it myself with Vickers testing. It's extremely easy to produce hard metal, and you do not need special or skilled systems, machinery, or people to make it. And as we come to the market, the most important, my favorite, is that you can have mass customization, which means that in a single build, I can build a ring, I can build a watch piece, I can build a cufflink, I can build anything if I want to, without increasing the cost per gram or cost per piece. It's a very fast turnaround production, which means that from design to production, it can happen in 24 hours. You can have new product categories and with newer metals. What do I mean by that? Which means that, say, if you are a manufacturer who's doing handmade jewelry or casting or is specializing in an X form of manufacturing, this system, this technology allows you to jump over to other ways of manufacturing without having a capital expenditure. What do I mean by that? I can have an electroform piece, or I can have a mix of CNC plus casting piece with this kind of machine. I can use a hard metal like titanium, and then I can use a part from a casting piece and then have a hybrid manufacturing. That's the flexibility that metal printing can allow you. When you do hybrid manufacturing, obviously, it creates a very high entry barrier for your competition, which obviously means that you could attract higher margins. There's a very low cost of failure, which means that because it's mass manufacturable, your turnaround times are very fast, the mistakes are less costly than any other way of manufacturing. And last but not the least is it allows you markets beyond your existing market without increasing your capital expenditure. So if you are in jewelry and you want to go into accessories, you want to go into watch market, you want to go into other lifestyle products, then metal manufacturing without increasing your cost allows you to do that. This in a nutshell is very important, very important key value propositions. It gives you flexibility, it gives you high margin window, it gives you ability to manufacture very complex jewelry, and more importantly, it allows you to be very flexible with metals. In the post-COVID world, I feel that this is very important for any one manufacturer to have all these capabilities under their roof.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rupesh Shah. Thank you very much. My next question is for Mr. Donald Michael from one of our participants. While buying laser welders and markers, what are the important factors that we should know before buying the product from either Italy, Switzerland, or China? How do we select?
I have already told you about laser marker, but I do not mind repeating it again. The first
So
thing,
if the participant has to choose between
yes,
Italian manufactured or Swiss manufactured or Chinese manufactured, he wants to know important factors, how he will do it.
Yes, the first thing is very important, as I said earlier, is the application. To give you this example, let us say I'll go 15 years back. The Italian laser welder was sold here with a power of around 30 joules. And the 30 joules machines, even to this date, are working very well, which means it can work on gold, silver, palladium, platinum, stainless steel, and all these factors. Now, what has happened here is when the Chinese started selling these machines, they have been educating the people, more the power, so much the better. So what is important here is the application. It's not that a 200 joules machine can do something extraordinary. A 200 joules machine, they will tell you probably at half the price of a 60 joules machine. The laser welders and the laser markers are defined by the laser rods and the laser sources. So when you have in the laser welder, let us say a 5 mm rod or a 7.5 mm rod, which basically distinguishes the power and then the repeatability. And the question is whether that laser welder can solder, if it is for soldering or if it is for production. So the application on gold is a little different than the application on silver. So somebody who is going to work on silver all the time, he requires a lot of power. So if he goes in for a laser welder with a low power, it may not help him. But if he's only going to do a little bit of soldering even on silver, a machine with a lower power can easily do that, be it spectacles, be it anything of a very fine thing. But again, I'm telling you, somebody who is going to work, let us say, for commercial purposes, where you have no idea what the person is going to come with. He may come with gold, he may come with an imitation jewelry, which has got something inside, and you have no idea. Therefore, and the person coming, and you will say, listen, the machine cannot solder it because the machine is only this powered. So you have to, before buying a welder, you have to first design on the application and then the joules. Now coming to, definitely the European machines are far better than the Chinese machines, because Chinese, the only idea is to bring in a machine and sell to the people at dirt cheap. Whether they work or they don't work is secondary. But when you go for European products, they are really long lasting, and then you get the value for money. Of course, it is expensive. Rutesh, I wanted to know the process about direct metal printing that you were talking about. Is it a process of sintering by any chance? Rupee and the customs duty that you pay on the product equally. These are some of the factors which eventually will make the product costlier. But more than the cost, it is a very high reliability of these machines that one has to count on. So if somebody has to ask me whether he has to buy a European or a Chinese, I will always say go in for a European product.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much for this, and it will go a long way in manufacturing.
Because I have 20 years of experience, Subbu, in this.
Absolutely.
But again, I may lose out to people from China because it's dirt cheap, but it's a customer's choice after all.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It was indeed in depth. Coming
sir.
back to Dr. Kopo, there is a question, sir, for you from a participant. I do not have annealing machine and I use only torch, but my metals always change color after annealing. Why?
Normally, if we do the annealing with the torch, because the metal after heat up, it will get in contact with the atmospheric oxygen, then the surface will get oxidized. So let's say if you are handling with the yellow gold, the copper or zinc on the surface will be oxidized and it become black in color. When you want to remove it by acid etching, then this superficial copper will be removed. So the metal composition on the surface will be changed. Like originally they have equal amount of copper or silver, but when the copper is removed, then the color will become more greenish. So you need to have intensive polishing to remove this layer to retain the original color. So this is the reason why we normally prefer to have some protection during the annealing. But in order to avoid this kind of oxidation, we can, before you do the annealing, you can also cover the surface with some kind of boric acid or borax, which can avoid the contact of the metal with the atmospheric oxygen.
Absolutely, doctor. Thank you so much. I would like to add one more point here. One of our participants has used furnace for the wire, but the wire still gets brittle sometimes.
I see. Because normally when we anneal the wire, we will make the wire into in a spool. So you for the whole wire, you may have some outside and some inside. So when you try to do the annealing, regardless in the oven or in with the torch, there always the wire on the outside get the heat faster than the inner part. So in this case, the alloy in the outside, they may have extensive crystal growth, but inside maybe they're not yet annealed. So in this case, you will end up with some kind of cracking if the crystal is really growing a lot. The grain size is too big. So this unevenness actually sometimes is difficult to avoid. So in the case of the wire annealing, if it is possible, it's always good to use annealing tunnel because you can have a very uniform annealing for the wire. If you make it in a spool, that you have to make it not very tightly packed. It should be loosely welded up. So all the wire have the equal chance to get the heat. Then it will be better.
Thank you so much, sir. One last question before we wind up for the evening today is for Mr. Vishal from IRIS. Can you quickly tell us about the RFID scanners and the RFID mobile apps of IRIS? And will this innovation transform the way we look at securitizing the jewelry sector?
Yes, surely. So the RFID scanners, and so we have developed our own mobile app, which we feel it's going to be extremely useful for the jewelry industry, and things that probably definitely going to add the portability aspect, which right now they have to use machines and laptops, right? So that was the whole focus, and we only have mobile apps with us. We don't get into the desktop-based applications. So, the whole thought process was like RFID as primarily people know it only from a stock perspective. But as I said, we thought if you're investing in RFID, with the entire hardware, then why not give you more ROI out of it? So from that point of view, the whole app is designed wherein we have a nice picture catalog so people can use it for marketing their products. So the complete details with all the filters basically. So if you have any specific requirement, you just select those filters and only those designs that match your requirement are going to come up on the screen. Then again, as I said, customer during meetings, the customer selection is another time-taking activity which we thought it can be very easily automated using RFID. Then from a retail perspective, we have got another nice feature called as a smart view. So basically what that, so right now, if you go to any retail store, the typical process that is followed is if a customer likes a product, the salesperson sees the printed information on the label and he provides that information to the client across. And whenever a price is asked, he is going to take a calculator, do his calculation and then give a price. So with our app, the moment you keep a product on an RFID enabled tray, the complete information about that product is displayed on the screen. Right from the collection it belongs to, whether it's a 22 KT, 18 KT, if it has diamond, then all details about diamond in terms of all the 4Cs of it, right? So a customer will have every information at hand, and there is no disconnect between a salesperson and the customer. Moreover, typically whenever we select a product, we are mostly confused. We make up our mind, we shortlist, let's say 2 or 3 products, and we are typically confused whether we should buy the first one or the second one. So what we have given is, we have given you a product comparison feature also, which is mostly available for all the online items. But here for physical items, you can actually have a side-by-side comparison of all the features that are associated for every product, and based on that you can take a call. Like for example, you have a budget of 25,000 but you end up liking a 28,000 ring. Obviously it has probably a better quality diamond or something, so as a customer also, you don't mind investing that additional 3,000, and obviously as a salesperson, it will help him to upsell from his perspective, right? Scanner wise, we have 2 3 different kinds of scanners. We have a portable scanner, we have slate scanners, wherein it's going to read only those products which are kept on the particular thing. We have tunnels which are meant for high density scanning. You spoke about the security aspect. Typically in the jewelry industry, though the anti-theft system that we see in the malls is there for at least 15 years now, but we haven't seen this technology being implemented in any of the jewelry stores. One prime reason is the size of the tag, right? So the size of the tag, what we are offering as a part of our RFID is very similar to the barcode labels that are used by the client. So, it is impossible to have 100% detection with that size of the tag at the gates. So what we thought, like, if you want anti-theft, then we have still given you that feature. So the slate that we are offering, so basically what we have thought about is, whatever products are being shown to the customers, the theft might happen mostly from those products itself, because rest of the products are either in the shelf or in the counters. So we have given a continuous tracking mechanism in the slate. So once you enable that tracking, whatever products are kept on the slate are continuously monitored, and you can set a time interval. Let's say you want 5 seconds, you want 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and after, so if a customer picks up a product and if it does not come back on the tray after that defined time duration, then the system will immediately start giving you an alert. So we thought, why not address the issue at the root itself, rather than waiting for someone to lift the product, be in the store, and then move out of the store. So immediately when the product is picked up, you get these kinds of alerts, and you can take preventive actions. So these are the things that are in to offer right now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vishal. That was indeed explanatory.
Rutesh, I wanted to know the process about direct metal printing that you were talking about. Is it a process of sintering by any chance?
It is technically called direct metal laser sintering. However, there is no sintering that happens. It actually, there's a spot size of about 30 to 50 microns, depending upon the machine, that shoots on a 20-layer micron of powder and creates a melt pool. And then that melt pool solidifies to give you a very dense object. So it's not sintering, but certainly it creates a melt pool to give you a 3D printed object.
Because you are directly taking from the CAD into the machine, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now I want to understand, when you develop through an RPD, right? I normally find, since it's a build-up step by step, the surface area is more different than the other type of a casting. So in this process that you have just been explaining, how does the surface look like once the machine, once the product is out of the machine? Is there anything
Uh,
else that you have to do beyond that?
Yes, certainly. So there are post processes involved. It's not a net product.
Huh.
Yes, it's not a net product. You have to have certain specific post processes depending upon the metal used, the design,
Yes.
and if it's a production, are these production pieces or are these RPT?
No, if it is an RPT and you can
Yeah.
accept the RPT for processing into your machine, correct? You can, right?
So these come out with ready products. When I say these are rapid prototyping, so these prototypes are actually usable products.
Yes. So instead of going for a direct casting, it can work on your machine as a direct output, right?
That's
It can.
correct.
Okay. So
Yes,
once let's understand that the piece is now ready. There is something called a post process to be done. Now, since
yes,
since these pieces are highly intricate, if it is especially hollow, right? Now the post process is not going to be little easy because of its very fine thin metal to work on
yes,
it, right? So
yes.
the possibility of working on that can probably be a liquid based finisher only, not a product which is something like a file or something.
So there are various stages and levels to it. So once
Mhm.
it comes out on the fill stage, you have something like sandblasting or a shot peening
Yeah.
to take out the first skin. And then,
Mhm.
of course, there are other proprietary post processes which you can use to actually get a very fine jewelry.
Yeah. Rutesh, thank you. I certainly would like to get some more information. Maybe I'll get in touch with you. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. This is for
Absolutely.
my own
Well,
academic
thank you so
knowledge.
much,
Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Michael. Thanks,
Thank you,
Mr.
Subbu. Thank you very
Rupesh.
much.
I thank the presenters of this webinar, which is the first of its kind in India that we organized. But this is just tip of the iceberg. We cannot cover the entire technology and machinery topic in 1.5 hours. But as a tribute, yes, I would like our technical team to play a short video, before which I would call Mr. Mehernosh Printer to give a vote of thanks. The technical team, can you play the video first, and then Mr. Mehernosh Printer can come in.
Today, it is not the strongest that survives, but the most adaptable. The World Federation of Diamond Bourses is constantly adapting itself to an ever-changing reality. That's why we are proud to present Get Diamonds, our new state-of-the-art online diamond center for the industry, by the industry. With Get Diamonds, you get transparency. You get a competitive free market that gets you more business. That's how in 5 weeks, you get a platform with $5 billion in total value. So don't get left behind. Get Diamonds, the biggest diamond search platform in the world.
Well, thank you so much. As I said earlier, this is just tip of the iceberg that we have touched, but we have many more webinars coming in from the JTM team, the Jewellery Technology and Machinery team. I now invite Mr. Mehernosh Printer to give a vote of thanks.
Thanks, Subbu. It was indeed an excellent webinar, and we had some important subjects that we discussed today. Some of the takeaways from me for the webinar would be that manufacturer confidence will grow with these technologies, and trust on innovative technologies will also increase as we go ahead. Indeed, a big thank you to the JTM media team and all our esteemed panelists, Ms. Joanna Franks, Donald Michael, Dr. Arvind Patel, Vishal Sapkar, Rutesh Shah, and Dr. Po Huang Ko. To all our participants also who have taken their precious time to listen and prepare for the new future that holds for all of us. So until next time that the JTM team comes back with important and preparatory subject for the industry, this is Mehernosh signing off. Thank you. Namaste to everybody and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
Thank you to all
Mehernosh.
the
Thank you, Subbu. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.